I don't know about you, but there's always some songs that you just wish you were able to play, but when you're looking at the tabs on the internet and tried them, they're just too difficult. So what I'm going to do for today is actually going to break down Under the Bridge by Red Hot Chili Peppers in 5 different levels. So no matter what level you're at, you're able to actually get stuck in and start playing this awesome tune. We'll be looking at exactly how John Frusciante plays it, but we will be using a capo to start off with. So grab a capo. This one is a page capo. I'll put the link in the description. I will put timestamps in if you just want to jump from section to section. But let's have a look at level 1, intro. Capo at 2. So we just want a nice clean sound. I've got a little bit of delay, but basically I'm playing through a Fender Deluxe Reverb, Tone Master Edition, and this is my sound. Okay, so we've got capo on 2, first chord is C, hold that for 4 beats, and we go to an E major. Level 2, you then start introducing some picking. So we've got the C major. Okay, so here we've got C, then we've got D, G, D, B, G, that's our strings. And then there is a little riff, but we're going to look at that in level 3. Then we go to E major, play an open E string. And then we do a very similar picking pattern, but this time from the A string. So A, D, A, G, D. Now for stage 3, we're going to introduce a little riff that goes in between these 2 chords. So let's break that down first of all. So on the C major chord, just when we go to the E, we've got this little riff here. 2nd fret of the A, open A, 3, 2 on the E string. And then we go to our E chord. So that will sound like this. And for the E major, going back to the C, we have this. 2 on the D string, open, 3 on the A, open. Sound like this from the E chord. Now for level 4, we're going to introduce the little hammer-on and pull-off parts, all the little fancy bits on the 2nd time round. So that was the 1st time round. The 2nd time round we do this. Let's break that down. So the first part of C, we play pretty much the same things. But when we get to that B string, we're using our pinky finger to actually hammer it on to the 3rd fret of the B, and then pull off to the 1st fret. And then you're hitting the open G string. Then we just keep these 2 fingers here, play them twice, and slide up to the 5 and the 4. Then we go back to our E chord. Yeah, so let me play it through, and then stage 5 is where we look at it without the capo, actually how John Frusciante plays it. Let's go. Okay, so stage 5 is where basically you're doing it without any stabilizers. We need to take our capo off. Now this shape now becomes this, so we're actually playing like a C major chord but with the 3 weaker fingers, and then our 1st finger replaces the capo on the 2nd fret. So let's have a look at it without the capo. The last part there, I just added in another 3 notes on the G, D, A, and then it goes into the verse section. Get our capos back on the 2nd fret, and let's have a look at what we can do for level 1 for the verse section. We're just going to be playing simple chords. D major to A. Now the next bit is B minor. Now rather than playing a full B minor chord, we can use this shape, which is the top 4 strings. So you got 1st finger on the 2, 3rd finger on the 3rd fret, pinky finger on the 4th fret of the G, 3rd finger on the 4th fret of the D. So now we have So timing wise, I'm playing on the beat 1, 1, resting on 2, then changing on the and of 2 for the A major. 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, then B minor on the 1 chord. And the first time around we go to an F sharp minor chord. Now I would play it normally like a bar chord. However, to make it as easy as possible, let's look at just playing 3 strings. So our third finger on the A string, 4th fret, pinky finger on the 4th fret of the D, and then your first finger on the 2nd fret of the G. Just try and mute the other strings. Okay, so that's from the B minor. Same timing, 1, 2, and. Then from there, you go to a G major chord or a G5. And then the second time around we just go straight to the G. So 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4. So that's the basic chords. So now we're going to move on to level 2. Now you'll hear in the record there is like the first verse is very simple. It's just like strummed exactly how we played it. And then it builds up in the other verses to more like strumming, and you'll hear all these little clever licks. So for the second stage, we're going to introduce a bit more of a strumming pattern. So this is how it sounds. Okay, so what I'm doing there. So it'll be 1, up, so down, up, then to the A major. So 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Then we go to our B minor. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So that's slightly different. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 2 strums on the G. Second time round, same thing, apart from we just go to the G. So for level 3, we're going to add in some of the picking parts, and this happens on the G major chord. Right? For the first time round, we were actually playing 3 on the high E, hammer onto the 5, pull off to the 3, and then roll onto the 3rd fret of the B string. So it would sound like this. Okay, and on that second time round, just pluck in the high E into the B string, and that will be level 3. Okay, so for level 4 and 5, we're going to get rid of the capo, and we're going to play this with all bar chords. We're playing off the 7th fret of the A string, playing an A major shape. Then we go to B major, the E string, using the E shape. And then we've got C sharp minor, the E string. And then G sharp minor, and then A. Now you could actually practice this as well with like the sort of the Hendrixy influence way, which is how John Frusciante would actually play it. Where, you know, so if you are already used to bar chords, you might find this a good next level or next step up, where you're actually using the thumb over the top. So that would look like that, and actually your pinky finger is now free, and that's what main benefit from this shape is, because that pinky finger now can actually add in little melodies within that chord shape. So from here we're going to go up to C sharp minor. Again, this time we only need 2 fingers on that, because we can actually bar those top 2. And then we go same shape down to G sharp minor, and then up to the A chord. So that's going to sound like this. So we'll do the basic version first, and then we'll do the little trills after, so for 4 and 5. So here we go. So next we'll look at the little trills that we just did on with the capo. That will look like this. Now, as you can see, you can still do this with the bar chord. So depending on what stage you're at there, you can do that. So that's playing the strum on the A major chord, taking your pinky finger off. 5, 7, 5, 5. And you you get most of those notes cascading into each other, so it's a really sort of more musical way of doing it. I mean, that way is okay, but obviously you're having to take your fingers off unless you can stretch, which is a bit awkward. But yeah, so the second time around we look like this, just with the two notes. Okay, and then on to level 5. This is where we introduce something we didn't do with the capoed version, and this is adding in some extra Frusciante magic. And this is on when we get to that B chord, what we're doing here, we play the G string, and then we're using our pinky finger to hammer onto the 9th fret. And then you can play the D string, so you have. And then for the C sharp minor, rather than just playing that, what you'll hear is a little melody within that chord. And by the sounds of it, he's doing this. He's sliding with the 3 and 4 fingers from the 9th fret up to the 11th fret. So already that sounds really cool. Then he's using his first finger to play the 9th fret of the G. And then you're kind of playing the double stop again and the 9th fret. And then we've got the same thing as before. And then finally, there's a bit just before we go into the chorus, and you could either, like with the capoed, you could have just played a D chord, D shape, but with the non-capoed version, we're playing this. Okay, so this is off the 7th fret, 7, 9, 8, 9, 8, 7, sorry, and that's an E major 7 chord. Next is the chorus. The chorus with the capo on, it sounds like this. Okay, really simple. So we got E minor to the D chord, then A major, and back to E minor. So strumming pattern wise, we have 1, so it comes on the offbeat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and on E minor. Then we go to the D, 1, and 2, and 3. So 2 strums and 3. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Then on A major, 1 and a 2. So 1 and 2, and 3, 4. 1 and a 2, and 4, and 4 on the E minor. And that's it, really. I don't know if there's actually going to be 5 levels to this, because that's probably the easiest way of playing the chorus. Let's take the capo off. Let's see what we can do up here. So the first chord is F sharp minor, and we've got the bar off the 9th fret, so 9, 11, 11, 10, and then 9. Again, the same rhythm. And then we go to an E major, so 7, 9, 9, 9. I'm using my 3rd finger just to bar that. Then it goes to a B major chord. So this is the sort of easy way of playing it. So for stage 2, you could, or level 2, you could use this shape. Okay, then for level 3, there's 2 options for this. It's basically the B chord. So depending on which one you find easiest, just stick with that. So you've got F sharp minor as normal. Then to E. Then this next chord is B5. Now you can either play it here, 14, 16, 16, off the A, D and G strings. If you're finding that a bit tough because it's quite high up on the fretboard, or you might have an acoustic guitar, you could do it here. 9th fret, 11th fret, 12th fret. Then that will complete your chorus. Back into the verse after that. So let's next look at the outro. Capo's back on. So with the capo back on, the outro is not going to sound as good with the capo. I think this is where the capo really loses out on the sound that we hear in the outro. There might be a way of just flicking the capo off halfway through the chorus beforehand, or the verse. I can't remember what the structure is there, but so let's look at how we would do this without the capo. So you've got like this G shape, which is just B, G and B. Then we're going up to the 3rd fret, the same strings, 3, 3, 3. And then we have like an F chord here. Now instead of like doing a full bar chord, we're just going to play the low 4 strings and then mute the top 2. And then we're going to use a similar shape as we did in the chorus and that B chord here, but we're going to play it off the 1st fret. So 1, 3, 4. So that again, open, open, opens. 3rd frets. And then we have that F shape. And then we have 1, 3, 4. Does that twice round, and then we've got this kind of sort of 8th note quaver rhythm, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then you can simply just shift those 2 fingers back, 1 and 2 and then take that whole shape up to the 3, 5 and 6, and then back into. Okay, so that will sound like this. I'll do it twice round with that extra part, and then I'll play that once more and we'll move on. So for level 2, you can start using some bigger chords for the first 2. So G major, and then to B flat major, and then to F. And then you'll just do the same thing for that one. So it's just really just adding that bar chords to it, adding a bit more depth. Works really nicely if you're just doing like an acoustic arrangement for that, just doing those chords. So let's take our capos off and let's look at how we're actually playing it originally. It's such a beautiful section because we're using sort of familiar shapes. In this case we're using like an A major bar chord, right? So 5, 7, 7, 6, 5, 5. But what he does, he lifts that 1st finger off the top 2 strings. Get this really beautiful sound there, and really good to play around with these chords yourself and see if you can create your own chord progression. Take a familiar shape, move it around the fretboard. Anyway, for this we're going from the 5, then we're going up to the 8th fret with the 1st finger, so 8, 10, 10, 9, open, open, and down to the 3, and down to the 1. For that section there, we're just playing power chords, F5 power chord. You could do the same thing with the 3 and 4, move it down, or if you prefer, use your 1st finger. Then up to G. Then back up to A. So no matter what level you're at, I really hope you get some enjoyment from playing this song and working through each of those levels. It's such a killer track, and I think there's a lot to be learnt from this song. So if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. I've got a Patreon where you can support me on there, and I will put on the tabs and you can talk to me on there, and I can try and help you out as much as possible. So all the links will be in the description below. And I have done another video up here if you're interested of another Red Hot Chili Peppers track. So it'd be great to see you over there, and I'll see you on the next one.